So everybody is living in an unprecedented time right now. The COVID-19 pandemic has been slowly sweeping across the globe, and it has been disrupting everybody's way of life, whether that's in the unemployment sector, whether they're getting sick, dying. There's the social distancing and the masks that have been introduced to help curb that spread. But I think at this point, since we don't know when and if things will go back to normal, we need to go ahead and adapt to this situation and make the best of it. So one of the major sectors that we need to change and alter is the education sector. So the education sector includes students, children, teens, adults. It could even include their parents that are taking them to and from school. Really, anyone involved in the education system. Learning has moved online. And so, since there are no in person classes now, it has actually made it very hard for a lot of students, especially for those that can only learn in a certain way and have trouble learning in an online setting. Having online classes versus in-person classes are a problem for a lot of people. So I am proposing my new innovation, which is called a virtual classroom. So my name's Blake Kinnaman, and I'm going to tell you today about my product and my website. Objectives. What is the virtual classroom? I'm going to talk about traditional classroom benefits, and I'm going to talk about online classroom benefits. I'm going to talk about the purpose of my website, what kind of content it will provide, my audience, and what kind of value it will add for my audience. Okay, so what is a virtual classroom? So a virtual classroom is a combination of Zoom and virtual reality technology. And so basically those would mix together to create a simulated reality. So the virtual classroom would allow you to have, or it would allow you to be face to face with all of your classmates and your teachers without actually being there. So basically you would put on your virtual reality headset and it would connect with Zoom. And so then you would be able to be transported virtually to the Zoom world, which would be our classroom. And so you would basically be able to look around and you could interact with all your classmates and your teachers. And so it'd really be pretty much like a normal school environment. So in that sense, since it's a combination of physical classrooms and online classrooms, it would technically be the best of both worlds. You'd be getting both. So it'd be a benefit for everybody. So your traditional classroom benefits, the main feature is an active learning style. So, and what I mean by that is you have to, as a student, you have to really be engaged in your face-to-face class setting. So you have to make an effort to go there all the time. You have to talk with people, you have to participate, and you have to be wanting to learn and be able to succeed. So there's also the factor that you have a lot more face-to-face communication. So you have much more chance to kind of get more acclimated with your atmosphere and really get connected with your teacher or different students. You would also, as I just said, you would also be able to converse and collaborate with their classmates, which could lead to bonds or friendships. Same with your teachers. It also holds you accountable if you have face-to-face classes, and that is because you basically have a certain time and a date you need to get to this building. So it basically cards out a little section on your schedule. And so just like the gym, if you have an expectation, you're more likely to do it and succeed. And therefore, it also helps with exercise because you have to expend energy in order to get to your building or wherever you're going for your classes. Remote and online class benefits. So this is more of a passive learning style. So it's kind of the opposite of the face-to-face classes. So you don't really have to worry too much about like a certain time or being there or anything. And it's pretty chill and relaxed and just kind of take it as you want. So for that reason, it's also very cost effective, and specifically for the organizations that are hosting the classes, because they do not have to worry about like renting a building or anything like that. Also, therefore, it frees up classroom space, and because you are taking your classes online in a remote space that isn't in a physical building or anything, there's all that extra space in that building. So it can also reach a diverse audience when you are remote learning or when it's online. And that's just because the powers of online. So you could be like in China, taking a class in the US. You can't do that with face-to-face classes. So that's another big thing. They are flexible and convenient. Any remote and online classes, well, not so much with remote classes, but especially with online, they're pretty much work as you go. So that is very nice. But then there's also with the remote classes, it's not as flexible, but there's still that convenient factor where you don't have to leave your home for your class. You can get up like 30 minutes before class and still make it. So it's very handy. There's more interactivity in remote and online classes. This is kind of subjective, but like for say you're having a math class. There's lots of different ways that you can get help and everything for your class. So it can help. There are more resources available to you to free up your learning. Okay, so the last two slides, I talked about the benefits of physical and online classes, and you might be wondering why I talked about that in that way. But that's because a virtual classroom technology will provide both of those benefits. As I said before, virtual classroom technology includes remote, online, and physical classes and kind of smushes all those benefits together. So you will get all of those benefits at once. Then research studies show that actually your remote and online classes sometimes are more successful because they have all of those different benefits. Okay, so my inevitable website that this video is about. So it will raise awareness of the products. It will emphasize benefits and importance of the innovative product. It will describe the features and specs. It will tell customers how they can purchase and subscribe to the virtual classroom. And it will also have like a section where you can give feedback, and so it will promote changes and discussions and everything, which will be very helpful to improving the product in the long run. Okay, my target audience. So my target audience, kind of like I also brushed up upon earlier, is anyone associated with education. So that will include teachers, parents, students, grandparents, anyone that who has the knack for education. It will also go to varying ages and interests. Again, anybody who is interested in the education sector. And so therefore, my audience will be quite a large demographic. Okay, so is there any value for the visitors that visit my website? New viewers will be introduced to the content of my website, and my website will be designed with enough information that it will kind of help people decide on whether they like or do not like the product, and it will therefore enhance the understanding of the topic. And so I will therefore also be showing them why a virtual classroom technology is viable and valuable and why they should invest in it. And those are my references. Thanks.